at the moment that the referee Antonio Matteo Lajos walks up the steps and plucks the match ball off its plinth. Here come the teams. It's Manchester City walking out first. Kevin De Bruyne leading out the Manchester City team. If you haven't heard, that's the big news tonight. Fernandinho's not in the team and neither is Rodri. So Kevin De Bruyne leads out Manchester City. Ederson all in pink behind him, the goalkeeper pointing his hands to the heavens. And here come Chelsea as well behind them. And they tonight are led out by their dependable captain, Cesar Azpilicueta. Both of the captains carrying the pennants that they'll exchange before kick-off, and the players are lining up now for the Champions League anthem here in Porto. Plenty of cheers and whistles again from the Manchester City fans. Just looking at their players as well, the City players, a number of them are turning around and waving, just acknowledging the support of the fans. The final of the Champions League is just a few moments away. So good evening everyone from Portugal. Welcome to this BBC Radio coverage of the 2021 Champions League final. It's a sparkling night here in northern Portugal, right on the Atlantic coast. And we're sitting high in the Dragão, the home of Porto, Champions League winners themselves. And we're about to watch what is the third Champions League final between two English clubs, and the second in 3 years, which I think says something about the Premier League's current standing in the game. And in a season in which we have had the threat of a Super League, here we are with a final between two of the teams that signed up to that before very rapidly withdrawing. And fan pressure, of course, was such a big part of that. And it really is brilliant, Chris Sutton, that there is a crowd inside the stadium for this, and we have supporters of both clubs, round about 6,000 of them, making a real racket.
Yeah, it feels good to be here in the stadium with the fans who have travelled across, and both sets of fans will expect that the closer we've got to kick off. I think, listening to fans on the plane coming over, predominantly Chelsea fans, they fancied their team, and then we've heard fans today getting a little bit nervous. I think both sets of supporters respect the other teams, and I mean this has the makings of an absolutely brilliant final. Very, very difficult to call. You'd think Manchester City, do they have the psychological edge? But do those two Chelsea wins against them in recent times, will they be favourites? Will Chelsea fancy it? We're just about going to find out.
Well, the smoke from all of those fireworks in the opening ceremony, it's just about drifted away, and the players are lining up now. Sun shining on the Dragão. The location of this final is a great example of the changing times in which we're living. We should have been by the Bosphorus for this. In fact, we're on the other side of Europe, on the banks of the River Douro. And we're being joined now on BBC Radio 5 Live by listeners to the World Service, to BBC Radio Manchester, to BBC London, listen as well via BBC Sounds, as the players take a knee before the start of the Champions League final. There's a mixed reaction there as well, and again we have many supporters now clapping and applauding and drowning out some whistles and jeers. But here we go, ready for the off. It's Manchester City against Chelsea in the 2021 Champions League final. And it's Manchester City who kick off and get us underway here. First choice colours, Manchester City, the designated home team in the sky blue shirts, white shorts, sky blue socks. Chelsea, royal blue shirts and shorts, white socks. And Chelsea being pressed by Manchester City, and Chilwell is forced into conceding a throw-in near the corner flag, over there in the sunshine. It's taken into the penalty area. Thiago Silva comes across, he clears it away, and then it's cleared further away by Ben Chilwell towards the halfway line. We'll see how things settle down. There are still lots of questions about who would play where. I can see certainly Reece James is operating as the right wing back for Chelsea, with the captain Azpilicueta one of the three central defenders. I'll run you through the teams in full in a moment or two. But Zinchenko chosen instead of Cancelo. goes back into his own half. So who have we got then, Chris? Manchester City with De Bruyne and Foden central, Sterling on the left and Mahrez on the right, and Gundogan with Bernardo Silva a little further back in midfield, just as we're looking at it now.
Yeah, I mean, they're so versatile, aren't they, the City players. Looks like De Bruyne will be playing in that sort of false nine position with Foden central, Sterling big call on the left-hand side. And for Chelsea, interesting one. It looks like Timo Werner is playing as a central striker, Havertz on the right and Mason Mount on that left-hand side.
Right, so that's sorted it then. So we've got Ederson in goal for Manchester City, a back four of Walker, Stones, Diaz and Zinchenko, and then it's like a 4-3-3 with Gundogan, Bernardo Silva on his right, Foden on his left, and then De Bruyne through the middle with Mahrez on the right and Foden on the left. Free kick to Chelsea in the central third of the field. 0-0, very early stages. And the Chelsea team, Mendy in goal, Azpilicueta, Thiago Silva and Rudiger, Reece James and Chilwell as the wing backs, Kante and Jorginho, and then as Chris Sutton has just said, Werner through the middle, Havertz on the right and Mount out towards the left. So that is how the two coaches have lined it up from the start. And as I say, the big news, the fact that Fernandinho and Rodri are only substitutes. Here is Werner on the right hand side for Chelsea, their first attack of the final, and that's blocked out of play by John Stones for a throw in 5 or 6 yards back from the corner flag on the right hand side. Reece James takes this throw in, gives it to Azpilicueta. He's still got that blue strapping around his left wrist, his left hand. He seems to have worn that all season, if not longer. And then it goes all the way back to Mendy. Important for Chelsea that they have Mendy and Kante fit. Mendy, who's made such an impact as the new goalkeeper this season. Here is James on the right hand side. Chelsea are playing from left to right in the first half, and then there's a foul on Jorginho by Bernardo Silva, and it's a free kick to Chelsea halfway inside their own territory. So we do have a crowd, 16,500 or so, are dotted around, socially distanced around this wonderful stadium, this light and airy, bright stadium of the Dragon, the Dragao as they call it. And sun is shining and glinting on the top of the stand on the far side with Chelsea, and Azpilicueta playing it forward towards Kante. Kante just moves to his right and away from Gundogan, who was a doubt after he missed the last part of training, Gundogan, but fit to play. Here's Werner now down the right hand side, pulls it back to Havertz inside the box. Havertz trips his way towards the byline and then scoops it across, but straight into the gloves of Ederson, who is able to stand feet wide apart and catch the ball in front of his face.
Yeah, a couple of occasions Timo Werner playing as that central striker, making a good run in the right hand channel, finding Havertz, who thought about getting a shot off, took an extra touch, and eventually the cross came in and Ederson gathered comfortably.
BBC Radio bringing you Manchester City 0, Chelsea 0. And for listeners to 5 Live, there will, after the final is over, there will be a special Champions League final edition of 606, which will feature Alistair Bruce Ball, Chris Sutton and Clinton Morrison. So have your say on the final on 5 Live later in the evening. City with the ball at the back.
Yeah, they're a back three, aren't they, City, when they're in possession. Zinchenko going into that inverted role, I think we call it, in the Manchester City midfield. Pep trying to outnumber Chelsea in there.
There's a lot going on with Manchester City here. This team, this formation.
Absolutely. I suppose the question is has Pep tinkered too much?
Well, the events of the next 90 minutes will tell us the answer to that. Mason Mount trying to win the ball back on the far side. The challenge comes in and it bounces out of play off Mount for a throw-in. In fact, a free kick for the foul by Mason Mount out there on Kyle Walker, his England colleague. Lots of England faces in this Champions League final tonight, with the squad of 26 being finalised on Tuesday by Gareth Southgate. 4 England players in the Manchester City team, 3 in the Chelsea side. Ball in the centre circle. Kante jumps for it. Ball's played out towards the far side. Zinchenko, there's no one there for Manchester City. So Chilwell can bomb forward down the left-hand side. And then in comes the challenge on him from Bernardo Silva, sliding in, bounces out of play off the Chelsea man. And it's a throw-in for the new Premier League champions, Manchester City, hoping to secure a treble here this evening against the team that stopped them from doing the quadruple when Chelsea won the FA Cup semi-final between these sides 6 weeks ago. Manchester City have been beaten by Chelsea twice in the last 6 weeks. As City play it forward now for a run from Sterling towards the right-hand side, and then the ball comes across, but Sterling is Walker is picked up for a foul over there on the far side, and it's a free kick to Chelsea in their own left-back position.
Yeah, it was a run-in behind on the right-hand side from Kyle Walker. Let's have a look again. Thiago Silva trying to block him off. There is a little tug on the short from Walker, enough to go down. I'm not so sure.
It's Manchester City 0, Chelsea 0. Here's Foden on the left-hand side. 21 yesterday. A rash of birthdays in the Manchester City squad this week. Kyle Walker was 31 yesterday. John Stones was 27 yesterday. And here he is on the ball. John Stones just shuffles it forward and then plays it to his mate Diaz to the left-hand side, with all of these awards for the season. Ruben Diaz in his pocket, metaphorically. Don't worry, he's not actually got them in his pocket. Here's Stones in the centre circle. Stones to Walker, and then Walker will play it all the way back to Ederson, who's all alone there. He's got almost the freedom of the Manchester City half. 0-0. Chris Sutton is with us, who played in a European final here on the Iberian Peninsula. Champions League goal scorer, and we're watching Ederson hit a long raking pass for Sterling inside the penalty area. He's still going. Sterling, Mendy goes down and gets a touch on it near the dead ball line. Actually, Sterling in the end was trying to cross it, and it was pushed away behind by the Chelsea goalkeeper. What a pass from Ederson.
Oh, he's so good, isn't he, Ederson? But it's Reece James who switches off, and I was wondering when we're going to see runs in behind by Manchester City players. Brilliant run from the left-hand side. Sterling inside Reece James. I thought he should have finished it.
First corner for Manchester City. First big chance, or first chance, let's say, for City, for Sterling. But it's Foden with the corner. Here it is. It's an outswinger left-footed towards the penalty spot. Referee Lajos has spotted a push, a shove on Thiago Silva, who's ended up on his backside in his own 6-yard box. And the referee very pointedly points to a free kick.
Let's have a look. It's Zinchenko, isn't it? And Silva coming together. But the ball from Ederson is sublime. Sterling, his first touch just allows Reece James to get back and have had a nibble and won the ball. But had Raheem Sterling's first touch been better, then that would have been a big chance.
8 minutes played here in Portugal, and we're watching Manchester City coming forward. Still goalless. It's Gundogan, Manchester City's top scorer this season. What an excellent campaign he's had. However, he's stopped in his tracks, and Chelsea played up towards Mason Mount. Applause, warm applause from the Chelsea fans for their young favourite. Ball over the top for Werner to chase. Oh, Stones has only half cleared that. It's come out to Havertz. Havertz now to the left-hand side to Mount. Back to Havertz towards the byline. Pulls it across. Werner is there. He misses his kick, and it bounces off him and is cleared away by Kyle Walker to comparative safety. That was a chance fluffed by Timo Werner. Sterling now, though, breaks across the halfway line. Still going down the left into the penalty area now. Plays it right across to the far post, and it's blocked by the arriving Ben Chilwell, who appeared from nowhere and prevented the ball reaching Mahrez on the far side. City still with the ball in possession. Excellent work from Chilwell. Back to Gundogan. Thought about the ball into the penalty area. Bernardo Silva made a run there. Comes back to Zinchenko on the left. Zinchenko into the edge of the area to Mahrez, then Zinchenko again. Zinchenko uses Sterling, who's out here still on the left-hand side, up against Azpilicueta. Ball into the box towards Mahrez. Mahrez, though, loses out to James, who turns and clears it away. Good moments these for Manchester City. And then Azpilicueta, then Zinchenko.
Havertz on is Zinchenko.
Well, I wondered whether that was a foul, but it's given only as a free kick, as a throw-in for Manchester City, which is taken by Zinchenko.
Just seen the opportunity for Timo Werner, and he's really wasteful. Havertz does well down the left-hand side, pulls the ball back. Werner has made a run, is level with the near post, and I mean that's an air shot with his left foot. Totally misses the ball. The ball wasn't coming too quick. He just has to concentrate on the connection. Was he 7 yards out? That's a big opportunity. And then City straight down the other end, and Ben Chilwell What a timely interception. I think Mahrez would have had an easy opportunity to tuck the ball in for City.
Chris, when you're a striker like Timo Werner and you're in a position in a match like this, and there's scrutiny on your position, and that happens, how does that affect the individual?
Well, he's missed so many opportunities this season, and that's been the issue with Chelsea, just not clinical enough. And in a big final like this, that was a big opportunity. I think he must have just taken his eye off the ball, lost his balance. You have to just concentrate in those situations on the connection, not try and hit the ball too hard, and that's what Werner did. Wild swing, chance gone. Chelsea cannot afford to keep missing opportunities like that.
Oh, ball played forward for Werner to chase, and that was a last-ditch stretch to chest it away by John Stones. Ball's played across, Kante inside the penalty area, but Diaz stood up in his path, and Diaz was able to just very coolly and calmly pass the ball away. It's quite frantic here in central midfield. Just saw Foden and Havertz challenging together. Havertz took a little knock there. Foden, I think, immediately apologised. And Chelsea have the ball in the centre circle. And it's with Thiago Silva, a disappointed runner-up in last season's final with Thomas Tuchel's Paris Saint-Germain, as they were at the time. Thiago Silva then hits a long right-footed ball forward, but Chilwell had strayed into an offside position, and it's a free kick for Manchester City deep inside their own territory. And there he is, Thomas Tuchel. He's not in Chelsea blue tonight. He's all in black down there. Still the tight, I think the tracksuit bottoms. He seems to have like a body warmer on down there. Amazing, really. This is his 30th match in charge of Chelsea, and it's a Champions League final. And he's got that disappointment as well inside his heart somewhere with what happened down in Lisbon in the final last season when they lost out to the only goal of the match. 0-0 tonight with 12 minutes played of this Champions League final. Half chances at either end so far, Chris Sutton.
Yep, I've seen Werner. Well, I'd say that was more than a half chance. Yeah. Big opportunity for him, but we've seen his threat as well, John, haven't we? With runs in behind causing Manchester City, Stones especially, cause him one or two problems. Stones needs to make sure he's watchful and switched on, and that ball from deep is on its way. He needs to read it early because Werner has the legs on him.
Misplaced pass by Diaz. That was cut out by Mount. Werner makes a run. Mount's in possession. Mount passing the ball forward. Chilwell arrives at pace, plays it infield, looking for Werner. Mount's taking it on and plays it to Werner, and Werner with a chance, and the shot is straight at Ederson, who's able to go down to his right and save it relatively comfortably.
How many opportunities does Timo Werner need? It's brilliant from Mason Mount. The ball is perfect, slipped in from the left-hand side of the box at the outside of his right foot, and Timo Werner gets the first touch stuck under his foot.
Here they go again, Chelsea. Mount through to Werner once again. Left foot shot into the side netting from a tight angle, it should be said this time. But again, great stuff from Chelsea, but the finish isn't there.
No, and Thomas Tuchel rousting the Chelsea fans up. That time Werner, little diagonal run, left-hand side of the box, shifted the ball away from goal, but the angle against him. But the earlier opportunity, he should bury. Poor first touch, ball gets stuck under his foot, and then it's a weak shot, a tame shot from 8 or 9 yards. Ederson down to his right-hand side, comfortable save, but they can't keep missing these chances, Chelsea.
I feel like there's a narrative developing in this final. It's still 0-0. Manchester City 0, Chelsea 0. But a corner. Chelsea's first of the final. Reece James to take it. This one to the back post. A big stretch from Ederson. Unchallenged. The excellent Brazilian goalkeeper out to the edge of the area quickly from Ederson. Underarms it to Mahrez, another of City's players of the season. Here's the brilliant De Bruyne now. Up towards the edge of the penalty area. But Kante was there. Stepped across. Took the ball away from the brilliant Belgian.
Oh, Kevin De Bruyne smuggled that through a couple of challenges, and it was 4-on-4 at one stage for Manchester City, but Kante has been doing that all his career, hasn't he? Getting back and snuffing out the danger.
So Manchester City finally appearing in their first Champions League final. What a great day, what a famous day for the club. And Chelsea involved in it for the third time, not since 2012, that amazing night in Munich. And both of Chelsea's previous Champions League finals have gone to penalties. Here is Manchester City with the ball on the right hand side. Kyle Walker plays it back to little Bernardo Silva, and then Gundogan, the bearded German international, back into the centre circle to John Stones. They have been tested already, Stones, and there have been a couple of uncomfortable moments for him actually against Werner, Diaz, and now it's turned around the corner. Zinchenko plays it forward. Needed a stretch there from Jorginho, and he was able to get it away. De Bruyne couldn't find the pass. Reece James stretches, ball bounces away from him. Oh, good work, James. Well played, James, under pressure from Foden, and then Jorginho makes sure that Foden on the stretch can't get there and plays it back into his own penalty area. Still 0-0 if you've just joined us on BBC Radio, wherever you're listening to us around the UK or back in around the world. Up towards Werner inside the penalty area for Chelsea. Here's Chilwell on the left hand side, takes a touch, cross to the back post. Kante was there in between two Manchester City players, but couldn't force the header on target in between the two bigger men and headed it wide by a few yards.
He's everywhere, isn't he, Kante? His opening 15-20 minutes or so. It's a good ball from Chilwell. Chelsea breaking out, countering well, and Kante rises, is in behind Diaz, 6 or 7 yards out, just cannot direct the header.
How did he get there, Chris? See, like 1 second he was intercepting De Bruyne on the edge of his own penalty area. Next thing he's on the edge of the other 6-yard box, heading it wide. World Cup winner, Kante, Premier League winner, of course, famously with Leicester. When he really burst onto the scene. Won it with Chelsea as well. Won the FA Cup. Won the Europa League. There's only one missing. One big trophy.
Maybe the little guy with the enormous lungs.
Manchester City 0, Chelsea 0. And it is Manchester City who go back into their own half. Well, we've played the first 15 minutes, Chris. Who's had the better start?
Oh, Chelsea have missed some big opportunities, Werner in particular. We're just a little bit of a lull here, a bit of a breather. It's been a frenetic start, hasn't it?
Yeah. Manchester City just knocking the ball around in the central third, and the sound of Chelsea and Manchester City's favourite songs ringing around the stadium. The sun still shining on large portions of the stadium here, and we can see the rooftops of Porto stretching away into the distance, cars whizzing by on the ring road, and boats bobbing around on the river Douro away in the distance to our right as Zinchenko plays the ball through the middle. Now it's worked to the left hand side and then up to De Bruyne, a little flick with the back of his heel turns. The City captain tonight tries to set Sterling away, and then across comes Azpilicueta to sweep it right-footed out of play. You know, I think that's one of the big stories of the team selections tonight that we haven't really touched on, is the fact that Sterling is in the starting lineup. Here's Zinchenko on the left. Zinchenko wins a throw in against Timo Werner, who is back there helping out his defence. City go back towards the halfway line, and then Kyle Walker turns. Walker, this is the first time he started against Chelsea this season in their fourth meeting. The two recent wins for Chelsea, but remember, a really good win for Manchester City at Stamford Bridge in January when they were hit by injuries and COVID. But that was when Frank Lampard was still the coach. Here's Pep Guardiola coming out to the edge of the coaching area. Involved in a Champions League final, Guardiola, for the first time since his Barcelona team won it 10 years ago. 10 years ago this week. Ball out towards the far side. Mahrez just shoved over. Chilwell with the challenge from behind, and it's a free kick to Manchester City inside their own half. Yeah, they always say, don't they, the critics, that Guardiola's not been able to win the Champions League without Lionel Messi. Great opportunity tonight to put that one to bed. This ball is played back to John Stones on the edge of his area. Great noise. Sometimes the Champions League final actually can be quite a quiet affair, because there are so many corporate people, sponsors, etc., inside, who come for their only match of the year. But the spectators, the Chelsea fans and the Manchester City fans, making a great noise. Zinchenko playing it forward. Good work there from Mason Mount, arriving back at pace to win it back. Here's Havertz to Werner on the right hand side. Zinchenko in quickly with a challenge. He's won the ball back. Sterling's off and running with it now. Sterling, De Bruyne's free on the left hand side, into the box, angles it back, and then Azpilicueta sliding in to put it behind and it must have bounced back.
It was an offside against.
Or did it bounce back onto De Bruyne?
It's
Chelsea's ball anyway.
From Manchester City's point of view, that's where you want Timo Werner. The ball, he was offside. De Bruyne on the left-hand side. But you don't want Timo Werner moving in behind when he's coming to the ball. They pinched the ball off him, and then Sterling broke quickly. Kevin De Bruyne making that run a little bit too early. And Pep Guardiola just...
I think it's Mahrez he's signalling to. He's stalked forward. Guardiola signalling, I think, to Mahrez on the far side.
Yeah, arms everywhere. He looks a little bit frustrated. He's animated down there.
Yeah, it's a bit like that famous little dance that he does on the video that appears every few days or so. Pep Guardiola, which I always enjoy, I must say. Jorginho plays it out towards the left-hand side. Here's Chilwell, middle of the Manchester City half. Back, though, turns, gives it towards Jorginho, who will play it back into his own half to Thiago Silva. Now here's Azpilicueta on the right-hand side. Azpilicueta works it towards Havertz in deep lying position. He rolls it right across to Chilwell. Chilwell's first time ball across the penalty area is steered away calmly by Diaz for Manchester City. Opened up there again. Chilwell's been very prominent in these early stages. Still 0-0. BBC Radio, live in Porto, live in the Dragao. James across to Werner on the edge of the box. Now back to James again on the right. James with a cross to the back post, but that's a stretch, and that's a header away from John Stones. Comes out for Chelsea again. And Rudiger, still wearing the black mask, incidentally, after his recent facial injury. Antonio Rudiger. Manchester City win it back. Mahrez, who was back there, I don't know whether that was the signal. Here's Walker now down the right, and then Walker is caught, went down quite theatrically, I must say, as the challenge came in on him from Jorginho, and free kick is given near the halfway line.
Yeah, Kyle Walker is still down at this moment in time, but Chelsea getting joy first of all from the left-hand side of Chilwell. Cross where John Stones right place at the right time to make the clearance, and then down the right hand side Reece James with the cross, and Havertz had peeled just in behind John Stones, but Stones with the important touch.
23 minutes played, midway through the first half.
I like that from the ref. Raheem Sterling's gone down too easily. Reece James in behind him. Sterling takes a touch, not enough pressure on the ball. He's better than that, Raheem Sterling, John.
I think he might be featuring on 606 later in the evening. Are you doing that tonight? That's the Champions League final special edition of the...
the little man who invented the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you call it again? What's the game called? Simulation game. That's
Simulation game, yeah.
Chelsea take the free kick forward. Azpilicueta up towards the edge of the box, looking for Werner. It's headed away. Zinchenko will deliver it back to Ederson. Forward from him. There's Thiago Silva, though, to get there ahead of Kevin De Bruyne on that halfway line.
Even Ederson's half side foots go 50, 60 yards. He has a hammer, doesn't he, of a left boot.
Manchester City 0, Chelsea 0. That's Chris Sutton with us here inside the stadium. We will hear from England international Andros Townsend, Premier League player. At half-time, we're going to hear from Don Hutchison as well, all being well, who's been a big part of our Champions League coverage this season. But Kante is fouled, and it's a free kick to Chelsea in a good position. Kante was stretching for it, and he was just caught by Diaz, and it's a free kick to Chelsea out towards the right-hand side. An opportunity for the delivery. James and Chilwell are going to be over it.
Yeah, about 30 yards out. Right-hand side for Chelsea. Left foot to Chilwell. James over the ball. Silva has gone forward, and
Rudiger's often a threat, isn't he, in these sort of positions? Saw him score against Leicester the other week. That was an important win a few days after the cup final. Chelsea bouncing back, they hope, after just a fortnight after Leicester's remarkable victory at Wembley. Free kick then for Chelsea. James to play it in towards the back post. Havertz was there for Chelsea, but it was headed away. I think it was Diaz who was behind him, who was able to get his head to it. Comes back to the centre circle. Kante is going to take no chances. He's got little Bernardo Silva bearing down on him, if indeed he can do that. And Kante played it back to Mendy. Still 0-0. And Here's Kevin De Bruyne on the left-hand side. Manchester City are playing again without an out-and-out centre forward. Both Aguero and Jesus among the substitutes. Incidentally, there's no Tammy Abraham on the bench for Chelsea tonight, who is their joint top scorer this season in all competitions with 12 goals. And with that, it does feel inevitable, perhaps, that Tammy Abraham will move on this summer.
But real talent, isn't he?
Yes,
but just Thomas Tuchel isn't having him for whatever reason. Interesting, Giroud gets the nod, but he's been prolific, hasn't he, in Europe this season?
He has, yes. And here's Sterling on the left-hand side. Sterling going around the outside of James, still going, but James did well, got back and was able to take the ball away from Sterling. And then James, the ball bounces away. De Bruyne, I have to say, like me, I thought maybe the final touch was off Reece James, but referee Lahoz was right there and was very, very decisive in pointing for a goal kick. Was he right? We're watching the replay now, Chris.
Oh, should have been a corner. Good battle that, isn't it, Sterling against James. Sterling just got away from him for a second, but he's sharp, isn't he?
Oh, City, that's a nice break of the ball. De Bruyne across, Foden could be in. Rudiger comes across with an excellent sliding block just as Foden was looking to shoot, and it came off Rudiger, looped into the air, and Mendy was able to make a simple catch.
Yeah, I think that's going in. It's a brilliant first touch from Phil Foden. The ball slipped in from the left-hand side. De Bruyne inside the box. What a challenge from Rudiger. Monumental challenge. Certain goal stopped. Last ditch, wasn't it? Rudiger throwing himself in front of the ball. Lovely pass, lovely spot from De Bruyne. Great first touch. And the second touch is goal-bound, and Rudiger. Brilliant challenge.
He has such a velvet touch, De Bruyne, doesn't he? That came at him awkwardly at pace, and yet he was able to just get the right connection to knock it into his own path and set up the chance for Foden. But Rudiger, excellent.
Foden's first touch was excellent as well, wasn't it? Outside of the left boot, just seamlessly onto the ball, and Rudiger from nowhere gets the challenge in.
Manchester City 0, Chelsea 0. Foden, Mount, they've figured Chilwell as well. Which reminds me to mention the fact that in 2 weeks' time we'll be into the Euros, and on BBC Radio 5 Live and across BBC Radio, stacks of coverage of the European Championship this summer. You'll hear all of the commentaries on 5 Live or Sports Extra, and lots of other programming as well. The podcast, special shows with Alison John. There's going to be a special Peter Crouch Euros podcast as well. And the Football Daily will become the Euros Daily. So listen out for all of that, as well as the coverage right across the BBC, coming soon. But in the Champions League final here in Portugal, it is Manchester City 0, Chelsea 0, and it's been really interesting, Chris.
It has been. Chelsea big chances with Timo Werner, but Manchester City had the early opportunity from one long punt from Ederson, where Raheem Sterling, his first touch wasn't quite good enough, and James got back. But then that opportunity for Foden, lovely pass from Kevin De Bruyne, and Rudiger making a crucial block.
What do you think the possession statistics are at the moment? City coming forward with Walker on the right-hand side. Played across, it's missed in the middle. A stretch for it by Mahrez, who was on the edge of the 6-yard box. Excellent play from Walker, but Mahrez couldn't get there.
Well, was he on his heels, Riyad Mahrez there?
Chelsea feel that Werner was fouled. Gundogan plays it forward though to Sterling. Sterling now in the box, goes for the curler. It's deflected right across the penalty area, and Chelsea are safe with it. Mendy's got the ball at his feet.
Yeah, they're asking for a handball. Manchester City, Raheem Sterling, left-hand side of the box, right-footed. Doesn't hit Azpilicueta. You can see the idea, trying to bend it into that far corner. Just wonder, the earlier opportunity, the cross from Walker, was Mahrez on his heels. He was all alone, 7 yards out, inches away.
What do you think the possession is? Who's got the most possession at the moment? Give us a figure.
Must be close, John.
61% possession to Manchester City. That surprised me, which is why I asked you the question.
Yeah,
doesn't feel like that, does it?
It doesn't. No.
But a chance there for Mahrez.
Yeah.
We're just seeing that again as well. Stretch.
If he goes earlier, if he anticipates the cross from Walker, who does really well to get to the byline, he scores that.
Zinchenko was trying to keep the ball, but it ran away from him. Pep Guardiola's almost on the pitch there with his urgent urgings. Here is Havertz on the right-hand side. I'm not sure urgings can be anything other than urgent. Thiago Silva to Azpilicueta. Just say that before you do. De Bruyne cuts it out on the halfway line. Sterling is there as well. Foden now shrugs off Jorginho, clipped his heels, goes down in the time-honoured way, actually catches the ball, knowing that he was going to get the free kick, and he does. It's taken quickly by City. Still 0-0. And De Bruyne, that's strong play from him against Havertz, but Havertz got the little touch on the ball that took it away, and so Chelsea have got it back. Manchester City, though, take up possession again in the centre circle. Bernardo Silva to Kyle Walker. Mahrez, who's rather central. Walker plays it into Chilwell, and then Chilwell puts in the challenge, bounces away on the far side, and now Mason Mount, who has pretty much played out on the left-hand side.
He has done. We haven't seen too much of him in this first half just yet. Manchester City defenders being really watchful of him.
0-0 the score, and I think the sun finally just beginning to head for the horizon, but we can still see it on the tower blocks and buildings on the outskirts of Porto, away in the distance, as Mount is challenged by Gundogan. Mount back on his feet. Chelsea bring it forward with James through the middle. Reece James now to Werner, left side, edge of the penalty area. Werner gives it back to Kante, square from him. Azpilicueta thinks about having a go, but then thinks better of it, gives it to James, then back to Kante, and Kante is being hassled by Bernardo Silva. Still Chelsea possession. Mount and Chilwell, then back to Mason Mount, and then Mount goes back to the halfway line. Whistles and jeers from the Manchester City fans. Ball played forward looking for the run of Chilwell, but Walker read that very simply and was quickly in and headed it back to goalkeeper Ederson. 0-0.
He did do initially when Silva had the ball and Chilwell had made the run. He was offside. Walker back anyway.
So Manchester City with Bernardo Silva. The ball caught up underneath his feet and he passed it forward straight to Chilwell, but it bounces back for Manchester City. Over half an hour played, it's still 0-0. So Chelsea have had the opportunities, 3 of them really for Werner. Sterling early on for Manchester City. Foden had the chance that was blocked by Rudiger, and that stretching effort from Mahrez that I'm not even sure that he made any contact with. So those have been the goal-scoring chances as the ball's put out.
There's a yellow card coming out there.
Gundogan. Yep. Was that for the foul on Mount? I think it might have been, you know.
And worryingly for Chelsea, Silva is sitting down and holding his left thigh, left groin. That's not a good look.
No, that's a worry. That's a concern. And yes, it was for the Gundogan challenge on Mount.
That's a bit harsh to.
It's a bouncing ball.
Yeah,
they both went for it.
Players going for it,
and he was caught. Mount was caught by it. It's that classic European club football yellow card, that, isn't it? And Thiago Silva, and this is a concern obviously for Chelsea. Now Andreas Christensen is there on the substitutes bench, who's done well, of course, under Thomas Tuchel. And if required, I think that's going to be it, Chris, isn't it, for Thiago Silva for this Champions League final? Beaten last year and having to leave this one through injury.
Oh, sad, really sad for him. Such an important player for Chelsea. I don't think the decision has been made just yet, but when you see a player go down in that fashion, you always worry. Didn't look like a contact injury where somebody had given him a kick. It looks like he's overstretched something.
So he's off the field, Thiago Silva.
He's jumping out. We're watching it now. He jumps with Phil Foden as he lands.
I think the electronic board is being prepared. So yes, Christensen's coming on. That's going to be it for Thiago Silva in the 36th minute. And play has not yet resumed Well, what a shame for Thiago Silva at 36. He's not won the Champions League, all of those honours that he's won, all of those years at Paris Saint-Germain. And, I mean, there is the talk, isn't there, about him staying on for another year at Chelsea. So this might very well not be the end for him at Chelsea, but they still haven't made the change. So Chelsea are playing with 10 men because Thiago Silva is, I think, intimating that he can come back on him. And Andreas Christensen has got Azpilicueta, I see the captain is looking urgently across, and he's sent back on now, Thiago Silva.
It's a strange one, and Thomas Tuchel, one to watch there, isn't it?
Yeah, let's keep an eye on him. Still 0-0. BBC Radio here in Porto, here in the Dragao. And it's 0-0 with half-time less than 10 minutes away. Thiago Silva has taken up his position in between Rudiger and Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta just moving forward to put Zinchenko under pressure. And then Kante is in to win it from De Bruyne. 10 yards inside his own half, and he's off. Kante to the edge of the area, gives it to his right to Havertz. Havertz works it back onto his left foot, and then Zinchenko comes in at the crucial point for Manchester City to take it away from the German and clear downfield.
Oh, what an opportunity. Havertz shifting it inside. Such a lovely mover. Havertz onto his left foot. Brilliant interception from Zinchenko.
Now City coming forward. De Bruyne to the right-hand side to... the ball played across from the right by Mahrez, who turned onto his left, then back onto his right, whipped it across, but too close to Mendy at the near post, who was able to pat it down.
We're just seeing this opportunity.
Mendy's put it out of play, Chris.
Yeah.
Mendy's put the ball out of play, and I think I know what that means. And yes, Thiago Silva has gone down onto his knees. He's leaning forward with his head on the pitch and his arms in front of him. And that is going to be the end of his Champions League final for this season.
I think there are tears there from
I really
Thiago
do.
Silva.
I think you're absolutely right. He's inconsolable there. Teammates come across. Jorginho, Azpilicueta is there, and yes, Christensen is ready now to come on the halfway line. Andreas Christensen, the Danish international, who's not played in the last 4 matches after he had a thigh injury. And now Thiago Silva is really upset. Reece James comes across, puts his arms around his shoulders, and Thiago Silva lifts up the front of his royal blue Chelsea shirt and pulls it right over the top of his head and puts his hands in front of his face. What a disconsolate figure he is cutting as he leaves the field. And actually Raheem Sterling comes across and actually offers him a hand, and Zinchenko as well. And that's great camaraderie, because it's all too obvious how upsetting that is for the excellent Brazilian central defender.
Yeah, he's a warrior, isn't he? What a career he's had. Be interesting to see whether he's still a Chelsea player next season, but it has to be something pretty bad for him to go off in any game, not just a game of this magnitude.
Groin injury, it certainly appeared. So that was another little drama within a drama, wasn't it? Manchester City 0, Chelsea 0 is the score. This is BBC Radio 5 Live, the World Service, Radio Manchester and BBC London. Listen as well via BBC Sound on your app. And we are live in Porto, watching the Champions League final between these two powerhouses of the game. Here is Havertz playing it towards the left-hand side. Chilwell crosses it, angled into the area. Werner with a touch, a stretch away with a clearance from Diaz as it bounced up to waist height. Again, semi-opening there for Chelsea, but Manchester City were able to deal with it. And Chelsea go all the way back to goalkeeper Mendy. So still 0-0. Manchester City, who've won all of their matches in the Champions League this season, apart from a 0-0 draw in this stadium against Porto in the group. Ball up towards Mount on the halfway line. Oh, lovely little flick from Mount to Chilwell, who took it on, but City were quickly back into position. Mount over there on the far side, the Chelsea left. Right-footed ball, high across the field. Chested down by Reece James. Blonde tints on top for Reece James at the moment. Now Rudiger works it right-footed out towards the left. Chilwell is there, but City are back in position, and Mount will just give it back to Rudiger near the halfway line. Now here is the newly arrived Christensen, Uses Rudiger to his left, and Rudiger, another high ball out towards James here, but Zinchenko quickly comes across this time and heads it out of play for a Chelsea throw.
Yeah, just trying to force it there. Rudiger, the earlier pass from Mount from left to right, pinged across 50-60 yards, brilliant pass.
Chelsea get going again down the right hand side, 0-0. Less than 5 minutes to go to half time. The warmth of the sun, I think, has just disappeared now. Just a tiny little bit of a chill in the air. Still a beautiful night here, though. Here's James back towards the halfway line to Christensen, and then Azpilicueta takes possession. Kante infield, James on the stretch. Bernardo Silva dived in, couldn't get there. Then Bernardo Silva dives in again on Kante, and it's out of play in the other halfway line. More gesticulations and urgings from Pep Guardiola as Chelsea go all the way back to goalkeeper Mendy to our left. All of these clean sheets, 18 clean sheets for Chelsea under Thomas Tuchel so far, but they have conceded in each of their last 5 matches. So the clean sheets have just dried up as the season has come to an end. This is the big one though, and it's still evenly poised as Mount plays it through the middle to Havertz. Ederson comes out, Havertz has beaten him, Havertz scores for Chelsea. Thomas Tuchel's side are in front, and it's Kai Havertz, one of Tuchel's big calls to start the final, who was able to take on Ederson, who came out of his penalty area. There was a fortunate bounce of the ball for the German, and then he was able to slide the ball left-footed into the empty Manchester City net. And it's Chelsea who are in front here in Porto. Manchester City 0, Chelsea 1.
Well, it's the space in behind, isn't it? For Chelsea, it's a lovely ball out from Mendy into Mount, and it's the ball through to Havertz, who runs from the right-hand side inside Zinchenko. Has a little look up. Ederson rushes out. He actually comes outside his box. Havertz maybe gets a little bit of a break of the ball off Ederson, and then he has the easiest of chances, composes himself 1, 2, 3 steps, an empty net, and rolls the ball in. I think Chelsea have deserved this, John. They've had the better chances. They have looked the bigger threat. Thomas Tuchel celebrates. Good run from Havertz, and now Manchester City, they have to respond.
The opening goal of the 2021 Champions League final goes to Chelsea in the 42nd minute, scoring just before half-time. And Chelsea able to find some space in between these two celebrated Manchester City central defenders, and it's Kai Havertz who scores. One of the big signings from last summer. If it goes to all of the various clauses, that's over £70 million Chelsea paid for him. It's not been the easiest of seasons for Kai Havertz by any means, but his 9th goal for Chelsea, the first one he scored for them outside London, is absolute gold.
Yeah, nice time to start scoring outside London. It's not how you start the season, it's how you finish. Zinchenko, it's really poor from him. Havertz runs from the outside right inside Zinchenko, and it's a lovely ball from Mason Mount, inch perfect. Havertz gets his head up, goes round Ederson, and he couldn't miss really, John.
Well, I spoke to some Chelsea supporters today, and the message, from them, Chris, was they strongly felt that Chelsea needed to score first in this game. Well, they have, and now Reece James as they look for a second goal before half-time. But James has to turn and give it back towards the halfway line. So, the winners against Manchester City twice in the last 6 weeks are winning again. Completely different team this evening. Pep Guardiola leaving out Fernandinho and Rodri, both on the substitutes bench. And Chelsea, certainly there, Mason Mount and Kai Havertz found the space.
They're brave in possession though, aren't they, Chelsea? They know that City will press them. Very composed on the ball. It was actually Mendy playing out from the back, which created the opportunity for the pass from Mason Mount. Boy, what a pass.
It really was. Still Havertz had a lot to do, but he plays the piano, Kai Havertz, quite an accomplished piano player, and he played the right notes there as he found his way past Ederson, who came sliding out of his penalty area. Havertz could have gone down actually, but the bounce of the ball worked well for him. And then he had an open goal from a slight angle from 12-13 yards, and just with his left foot stroked it into the back of the net. So Manchester City 0, Chelsea 1 is the score. Kante on the right for Chelsea, a little dink into the area. Werner chests it down and then shoots rather lamely, well wide from an angle and behind. Goal kick, Manchester City.
Thomas Tuchel cuts a disgruntled figure as the ball goes into Timo Werner. Lovely dink ball. And Kante into Werner, who takes it on his chest on the edge of the 6-yard line, on the point of the 6-yard line, and tries to fire a shot off on the volley and pulls it well wide. I think Manchester City, they need half-time, John. They need to regroup. They've been outplayed. Pep has been outthought from Thomas Tuchel.
Well, Thomas Tuchel there on the edge of the coaching area. He claps his hands. Excellent work again from Reece James. His team last season in the Champions League final, which was in August, remember, just 9 months ago. They couldn't manage a goal against Bayern Munich. This season his team have got a goal and they're in front, and it was one of his selections who scored the goal. There weren't many people in the build-up to this match who were suggesting that Havertz should play, but he has, and he scored.
Are you having a pop at me there, John?
No, not a chance. There were a lot of people who didn't think. I didn't think he'd be in the team.
I didn't. Good pick though, and I tell you, Thomas Tuchel down in his technical area, he is fired up. Really is.
I mean, it's a funny one, Chris, with Havertz, because I don't know about you, when we were building up to the FA Cup final, I quite strongly at the time thought that it would be Werner, Mount and Havertz who would play in the FA Cup final. But he didn't play in that one, didn't expect him to play in this one. He has, and he scored. Here is Manchester City with it on the halfway line, with work to do now, and City, who have been like a steamroller in this competition this season, winning the Premier League title, of course, with 86 points, so finishing 19 points ahead of Chelsea. But they've created really very little so far, and now Mahrez carrying the ball forward, and there is the half-time whistle. That's it, that's the half-time whistle from the Spanish referee. And Chelsea lead at the break, and I'm looking down to my left at all of their supporters, their 6,000 or so, and they're on their feet. The Chelsea fans are clapping their hands above their heads. A really good half for Chelsea. They've got the goal just before the break, and they lead the Premier League winners by 1-0. Chris Sutton.
Yeah, deservedly lead Chelsea. I think they've been the better team. They've had the bigger chances. Timo Werner, he missed a couple of opportunities he should have gobbled up, but eventually they got the rewards. Chelsea, good run, bravery to play it out from the back. Lovely pass from Mason Mount from inside his own half. Perfectly timed run from Havertz, goes round Ederson, and thinking to do for Pep Guardiola now. Huge second half of Manchester City. Chelsea going in front.
Yes, Manchester City's first Champions League final is not going to plan for them. Half time here in the Dragao. Manchester City 0, Chelsea 1. No, it looks as though it's the same again for Manchester City, Steve, or at least I certainly haven't spotted any substitute. The Manchester City players, how many are out there, Chris Sutton? 3, 6, 9, 10, yep. Same again. Same again for Manchester City. Right decision, or should he make a change?
Oh, I tell you, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because if he made a change at half-time, he'd be admitting he got it wrong, wouldn't he, from the start of the game? But how long can he leave it?
You won't nail down in the Champions League final.
Listen, but neither should we necessarily be telling Pep what to do. But what we would say is City haven't been enough of an attacking threat. Didn't really get enough movement in behind the Chelsea backline. Everything was in front, and Chelsea were pretty comfortable. Those three centre halves really getting the distances right. And City have to respond in this second half. But we know, we've seen Chelsea creating opportunities in the first half, and they have Werner and Havertz on the break. If space in behind, they can exploit.
So second half about to begin here in the Dragao in Porto, where it's just beginning to get dark. Manchester City 0, Chelsea 1. Referee Lahoz blows his whistle, and Chelsea leading 1-0 through that Kai Havertz goal. Kick-off at the start of the second period. No further changes then at the break. So Manchester City are playing without Fernandinho or Rodri, who are both on the bench. They're on the field tonight. Ederson, the goalkeeper, Walker, Stones, Diaz and Zinchenko. Then Bernardo Silva and Gundogan, Mahrez and Sterling wide, and Foden and De Bruyne are playing essentially as the two in the middle, just as the sort of both playing almost as false nines. And Chelsea's side, they lost Thiago Silva shortly before half-time. Actually, just 3 minutes before Chelsea scored the opening goal, they lost their important central defender. Andreas Christensen came on for him. And here's the official attendance announcement, incidentally, which is significant tonight. 14,110 is the attendance for the Champions League final, which in years to come people might look at that crowd figure and think, what? But in the circumstances, it's remarkable that we have as many people here in Porto, and of course so many people have travelled over from the UK for this. So the Chelsea team: Mendy, Azpilicueta, substitute Christensen and Rudiger, James and Chilwell in the wide positions, Kante and Jorginho in the middle, with Havertz, the goal scorer, on the left, Werner through the middle, Mount on the left, Havertz through the middle, and Werner on the right. Manchester City 0, Chelsea 1, and City with a free kick on the left flank.
I think Sterling goes down easily again, head to head with Reece James, going back towards his own goal. Raheem Sterling, contact in the back, but not enough to go down. Opportunity for City,
and an opportunity with the right foot of Kevin De Bruyne. Foden is there as well. You'd think it would be more likely to be the in-swinger from Kevin De Bruyne, who takes a little couple of steps forward in his green boots, arms hanging limply down by his side. Chelsea urge their line out. De Bruyne runs over it. Foden plays it in, and Kante was quickly in there, nipped across, almost like, he really read the situation there, Kante, and was across into the line of the ball from Foden, deflected it, and now the ball's bounced out of play off De Bruyne for a free kick, a goal kick to Chelsea. And Mendy, who's just going to tap it to his right to Christensen, and Christensen hits a long ball downfield. This is for Havertz to chase. Diaz, though, is underneath it. I saw as well, did you see the little shot in the tunnel that we had on our screens here of Diaz chattering away to Raheem Sterling before the start of the second half? Here's Walker on the right hand side, and Mahrez plays it back towards Stones.
He's been quiet, hasn't he, John? Riyad Mahrez in that first half especially. City not getting him on the ball. Here he is, though. Yeah,
here he is, one of the stars of the semi-final with his 3 goals in that tie against PSG. Foden challenged well. That was excellent from Rudiger. Manchester City take it up again, though, middle of the Chelsea half, as they play from right to left as we look here from high up on the dressing room side of the Dragao Stadium. Sterling on the left hand side, and Reece James is tight on him, and then the ball's carried forward by Kante, but Manchester City are able to deal with that. And Zinchenko is running it forward, a diagonal run, and then he passes the ball left-footed to Bernardo Silva back in his native Portugal, square towards Gundogan. Gundogan takes it on, and then with his left foot plays the ball to the right hand side. Walker is there, Kyle Walker now to Bernardo Silva, looks up, head bobbing, turns onto his right foot, but he loves that left foot of his, Bernardo Silva. Walker with the cross, but that's too close to Mendy, who's able to dive forward out of his 6-yard box, land on his front with the ball safely secured.
Yeah, good start to the second half from Manchester City, though, playing with a great deal more urgency, working the ball out to the right hand side. Chelsea happy to narrow up and maybe let City put crosses into the box. No great height for Manchester City.
So it's 1-0 to Chelsea, and welcome everyone again who's listening to us around back in the UK and around the world as well. The World Service listeners are with us, BBC Manchester, BBC London, of course BBC Radio 5 Live, and listen as well via BBC Sounds. They say that there are 200 countries taking live coverage of this Champions League final. There aren't that many more countries in the world. Here's Walker heading the ball back towards the edge of his own penalty area, and Ederson will comfortably get there first ahead of Mount.
So what's your estimate on countries in the world then, John?
Isn't it about 207? I think it is, something like that.
207?
I think so. Here is Diaz playing it forward for the run of Sterling. James is tight on Sterling again. It's been an excellent contest, that. James gets the touch on it as well and hooks it out of play for a throw into Manchester City.
Yeah, spot on. Sterling will keep making those runs. He'll keep getting the ball and driving at James, but
it's an interesting one, Chris, because the debate over the last week has been, well, Trent Alexander-Arnold, will he be in the team, the England squad, ahead of Reece James? It looks like it might be one or the other. And James tonight is having a good night against Sterling. Here is Havertz, the goal scorer, back to Rudiger. Rudiger puts his foot on the ball and then plays it across towards Azpilicueta. Forward from him to Kante. Kante with Gundogan tight on him. Kante forced out towards the right. Kante gets it back. Excellent. Werner back to Kante, and then Chelsea go back into their own half. This is good from Thomas Tuchel's side. The two coaches know each other very well from their time in Germany, as we were hearing from Rafa Honigstein before the game, and watching Manchester City win the ball back inside their own half. John Stones, ball at his feet, head down, runs it forward towards the halfway line, then checks back onto his right foot.
It's quite a high Chelsea line, and everything in front once again from Manchester City. They work it well there, though.
Yeah, they do, and they play to De Bruyne, and then in slides Kante with a challenge, even though it seemed that De Bruyne was away from him. Excellent tackle from Kante, and listen to that ovation from the Chelsea supporters. They absolutely love him, and you can understand why with a challenge like that. Not his first of the night.
No, but when you challenge from behind, as he did, it looked like De Bruyne was away. You have to get it spot on, you have to win the ball, otherwise you would have got caution. But perfect challenge.
Here's Ben Chilwell. Remember the heartbreak that he suffered at the end of the FA Cup final a fortnight ago. Chilwell taking it on, but the offside flag was actually up against Werner, who's having a right set to. Werner and Tuchel absolutely shouting at each other from 15 yards away. Thomas Tuchel gave Werner a mouthful, and Werner gave him a mouthful back. But you never did that. Manchester City 0, Chelsea 1. That's Chris Sutton with us. You heard from Andros Townsend on 5 Live at half-time. We'll hear from Don Hutchison as well after the match. And here's Gundogan, who plays it forward to Zinchenko. De Bruyne with a pass, pace on it, but James read it, and then James ball forward. Werner's on the chase. Important tackle though. Diaz did well there, and was able to get there and pass it back to his goalkeeper.
Yeah, I'm still trying to work out what Timo Werner was shouting back at Thomas Tuchel for. If he was offside, he was the one who was at fault.
City coming forward, the ball bounces into the penalty area. It was overrun there by Zinchenko, and it was cleared away by Christensen on the edge of his box. Just to repeat as well for 5 Live listeners, there will be a Champions League final special 606 after the match tonight, once we've wrapped things up, with Alistair Bruce Ball, Chris Sutton and Clinton Morrison. So I guess there must be Sutton Death tonight, Chris. Hashtag BBC 606. Get in touch, 85058 to book your call and have your say on the Champions League final tonight. The lines, if they're not open now, they will be soon. 08085 909 693. Chelsea coming forward. It's the goal scorer Havertz again, who might have been caught, and it is a free kick to Chelsea on the right. That's disputed by Gundogan. Just throws his right hand in the air. Gundogan's the only player so far in the match who's been booked. Free kick to Chelsea on the right.
Clear free kick. I don't know what Gundogan's complaining about. Havertz gets his body in, takes a touch, and Gundogan catches him on the left leg. Another opportunity for Chelsea. Listen to this.
Chelsea supporters making the noise. Their free kick. Chilwell is over there to take it, standing, shoulders back, black hair, glossy, swept back. Chilwell waiting for the whistle of the ref. There it is. Chilwell plays it in deep towards Rudiger, headed away though for Manchester City by Diaz, who got his head to it, then urges his team out. Chelsea with Kante, drives it, volleys it forward, and that will bounce harmlessly away through for a goal kick to Manchester City, with Chelsea leading by 1-0.
Yeah, he's just looking down at the City bench or City substitutes. How long can Pep leave it for putting an Aguero on or Jesus, or just changing things up?
There's been a collision there as the ball was played. Rudiger and is it Zinchenko?
De Bruyne,
or is it De Bruyne?
Yeah,
they've collided as the ball was played. They were both sliding in, and I think they might have clashed heads. Hence the immediate stoppage.
There's a card.
Actually, he's got a yellow card out, the referee, for the challenge from Rudiger. And as we know, Rudiger is playing after a recent facial injury, and he's playing in this black mask. And it's Rudiger who slid. Well, the ball had gone. De Bruyne played it off, and Rudiger just continued with his momentum into De Bruyne and blocked him. And then they actually.
Oh, it's a nasty.
Yeah, it is. They clashed heads. De Bruyne didn't see him coming, actually. De Bruyne is lying on his back. His legs are moving, and Rudiger is sitting up. So we've got a lengthy stoppage here, Chris. And obviously concussion, and the protocols will come into play. It's important, really, with an incident like this, to make sure that they get this absolutely right when the whole world is watching, and this is such a point of discussion. Rudiger is lifted to his feet and is shown the yellow card.
The worry here is De Bruyne, who is still down, lying on his back, and there's a couple of medical staff on the pitch.
Just seen the replay again.
Well, De Bruyne plays the ball round the corner behind Rudiger, and Rudiger, I think he knows what he's doing, if I'm honest, John. He steps across him, doesn't want to let him get the other side. It's an instinctive, natural reaction from Rudiger to do this, but worrying for Manchester City. Their star man still.
And I think from the angle that I saw that replay, it's sort of the top of his forehead, the top of his head, De Bruyne really cracked into the head of Rudiger.
Yeah, you mentioned the seriousness of head injuries. De Bruyne is Manchester City's best player. There's no doubt about that, but they have to do the right thing here, Manchester City. If there is a worry of concussion, then City should take him off.
Yeah. And so we've got a lengthy stoppage continuing. Gabriel Jesus is going to come forward. That's the first Manchester City change. And we'll just have to see if De Bruyne is going to be able to continue. And this is not looking good for him and for Manchester City, because he is still lying on his back receiving treatment. His legs are moving. He does appear to be conscious, but there are two medical staff leaning over him, and Ruben Dias is there as well.
He's trying to pull it. Well, he actually is not trying to pull him up. Dias has pulled him up from his back. He's sitting up, and now he's standing up. He's got one hell of a black eye, hasn't he?
He just does not look right. Kevin De Bruyne, we can see him now. He looks quite distressed, actually, and that clearly is a serious bang on the head, and they have no alternative there. And I think he's in tears as well, Kevin De Bruyne, perhaps from the injury as much as anything else, and also clearly the disappointment, the utter disappointment on this stage, this Champions League final stage, having to leave the field, and he's having to be consoled now. He is not in a good way, Kevin De Bruyne, there at all, and he's standing off the field, and he's leaning forward, and there are several medical people, coaching staff around him, and he's having to be supported there. He's still on his feet. Really horrible to see. Chelsea lost Thiago Silva in the first half, and now Kevin De Bruyne, who is really unsteady, really struggling.
It's really bad head injury for De Bruyne. He goes down the tunnel. He is walking on his own now, which is good to see.
That was a long stoppage. We've played almost an hour, but lots of time to add on. City take this free kick. Comes to Sterling with a shot. It's blocked inside the penalty area. It hit Reece James. Manchester City's players are running after referee Lahoz. And Raheem Sterling is adamant that was a handball. play continues. Clearly VAR will come into this as the ball ends up with goalkeeper Mendy, who will now pick it up. And the referee, I think, has had some stern words there for the Manchester City players. And there is a check now. We can see on our little screens in the commentary position here that they are checking for a potential penalty for handball.
Not for me. It hits Reece James. The ball fired in from Sterling. It hits him, first of all, on the right hip, and then it does hit his arm, but his arm is by his side. I thought that would have been terribly harsh to award a penalty there. I think the referee has got that one right, but as we see, I think it's still being checked.
Well, we've got the amber caption on the screen, and now the check is over, and it's a green check, and that means the decision from the video assistant referee is that it is not a penalty, and Chelsea still lead 1-0. And now Foden takes it on for Manchester City, but shoots from just outside the box from an angle on the left, and it flies away wide and high into the Manchester City fans behind that goal at the River End. And we're seeing the replay now, finally, of when the ball struck the arm of Reece James. What do you think, Chris?
I think the referee's quite right, and I think he's saying to the Manchester City players, it hit him on the side, then hit him on the arm, and his arm wasn't in an unnatural position. It wasn't raised. It wasn't really out from his body. So I think that would have been extremely harsh to award a penalty in that situation.
You say that it actually deflected off his body onto his arm?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so that's the reason.
Yeah, we're a long way away here, aren't we?
Yeah, and we've only seen one replay. It's been actually rather bizarre, hasn't it, this week with the coverage of the finals, that the VAR check is taking place. The TV coverage is not showing the replays. City rattled here, and Chelsea putting Diaz under pressure, and he couldn't find the pass to Zinchenko, and it's out of play for a throw-in to Chelsea. Things are not looking good for Manchester City here. 1-0 down, they've lost De Bruyne, feeling that things are going against them. Sterling was adamant that he felt that should have been a penalty. The referee waved him away, and Chelsea continue to lead through that Kai Havertz goal just before half-time. BBC Radio, live in Portugal, bringing you Chelsea going for a second Champions League success in the final. Here's Havertz, who turns and sets off on a run. Havertz then plays it to James on the right-hand side, and James goes back infield towards Jorginho. This has been a good response from Chelsea after a difficult end to the season, and the great disappointment of losing the FA Cup final just a fortnight ago. As the ball's played forward by Jorginho, but Walker was in position to head it back to goalkeeper Ederson.
Yeah, and obviously with Jesus coming on as a proper centre forward, a proper number 9, he's playing right up top with Foden now.
And Jesus rather than Aguero, incidentally.
Yeah, interesting call. Still got the option of putting Aguero on.
Fernandinho is going to come on. He's standing on the side of the pitch. And Pulisic also coming on for Chelsea very shortly. 1-0 Chelsea lead. BBC Radio at the Champions League final of 2021 here in Porto, where darkness has descended, and we can see the orangey lights of Porto twinkling away in all directions. And the change, Fernandinho will replace Bernardo Silva in the midfield, so the experienced club captain. He's already directing operations, Fernandinho. The 36-year-old, 36 earlier this month. I'm sure Raheem Sterling, you would think, would give him the captain's armband in a moment or two after taking it from Kevin De Bruyne when the unfortunate Belgian had to leave the field. 1-0 Chelsea lead. Chris Sutton with us here in the stadium.
Yeah, and Gundogan has just his move from that pivot position where Fernandinho plays. He's gone forward, or further forward, playing higher up in midfield, and Bernardo Silva really ineffective this evening, playing in a deeper role, had very little impact on this game.
1-0 to Chelsea, and here's Walker on the right. Walker infield towards Foden. Foden now lifts it, left-footed pass out towards Sterling, who's there towards the far side. James is in quickly again with a challenge, Zinchenko. Then it comes back more centrally. Foden is there. Foden was caught late by Werner. Referee says no free kick.
It's to be a free kick there, doesn't it?
Yeah. Chelsea then played away.
But they can't get in behind Manchester City just yet. It's a strong challenge.
Fernandinho on Jorginho. That was an early marker from the substitute. Fernandinho on Jorginho. That's not a free kick either. And Rudiger will steer it right-footed back to Christensen, who had to quickly adjust with Gabriel Jesus bearing down on him, and the ball eventually rolls out of play over there on the far side for what is given as a throw-in to Chelsea, so off Jesus in the end.
And the referee saying to Fernandinho, that's your first one.
Right, here is the next Chelsea change, and it's Pulisic who is coming on for Werner. So that's the end of Werner's night. Could easily have scored early in the first half, had a number of opportunities, and that's the end of his final. Thomas Tuchel comes across, just a little pat on the chest and on the back, and Pulisic is on to replace Timo Werner. Not his night, Chris.
Not his night, and the truth is, had he taken his opportunities, I think safe to say Chelsea would have been home and dry now. Pulisic starting as it's like for like, Pulisic starting in that central role.
1-0 to Chelsea. Time beginning to run out for Manchester City. We're in the 67th minute. Still only one goal in it though. Jesus is challenged by Kante, and then Reece James is, I think, picked up for a foul, and it's a free kick to Manchester City on the left. Was that just after the ball had gone?
Reece James going to ground catching Raheem Sterling.
So it's a free kick out there on the left-hand side.
Delivery hasn't been very good from Manchester City so far.
Manchester City need to up this. Finally making it to the Champions League final. Their first European club final since 1970. But it's not really happened for them tonight. Still time, of course. Zinchenko curls in the ball, which is headed away by Rudiger. It was just over the top of Diaz, and the ball out of play. Final touch off Diaz, and it's a throw-in to Chelsea halfway inside their own half. Mason Mount with the throw. It's Mason Mount who created the goal for Havertz towards the end of the first half. We've seen a picture of Kevin De Bruyne sitting on the bench with an ice pack against his head, and it really was quite a crack that he took. And as you said, Chris, a real bruiser of a black eye for Kevin De Bruyne, who's out of the action. De Bruyne, who was substituted after an hour of the final. Manchester City, nice exchange there. Foden takes it onto the edge of the box. Then the ball right across towards the back post, and Azpilicueta was there. And he was able to slide in and make contact and send it over the top of his own crossbar, and Gundogan was just behind him. If Azpilicueta had failed to cut that out, that was 1-1. Corner to Manchester City that they take quickly, and in fact they've lost possession after taking a quick corner, and it's been carried forward by Pulisic. Kyle Walker shoulder to shoulder with him, got the touch. That was an important one as well from Kyle Walker. Well defended for the England man.
Big mistake, wasn't it, from Kyle Walker halfway inside the Chelsea half. But if one man can get back in the City team, it's Kyle Walker. Great pace to get back and pinch the ball off Havertz. Azpilicueta has gone down, but what an interception that was. Certain goal for Manchester City. Captain Marvel there making the clearance, but he's taken a sore one. Knee to knee, Raheem Sterling. Jesus knee to knee.
And Azpilicueta is still down over there, so yet another stoppage. We're looking at 6, 7, 8 minutes possibly being added on at the end of this Champions League final because of the stoppages. And with Azpilicueta down, and Manchester City have lost the man who started as captain. Azpilicueta, there is a question here over whether he's going to be able to continue. So while he's down, let me just remind listeners to BBC Radio 5 Live that there is a 6:06 Champions League final special coming up later tonight with Alistair Bruce Ball and Chris Sutton reunited for one night.
One night only.
One night only. Catch it while you can. and Clinton Morrison is going to be there as well. So 08085 909 693 to listen to Ali, Chris and Clinton later and join in with the conversation. Chris Warburton, by the way, will be in Porto again. He was here with us. We were down in the square this morning with him. 5 Live Breakfast. We'll have all of the reaction to this final from 7 o'clock in the morning until 10. So join Chris and the team for that. 1-0 to Chelsea. Azpilicueta is back on his feet and he's okay. So Chelsea's captain is still out there. He hardly misses a moment of the action, does he, Azpilicueta? Fernandinho, right-footed and forward to the edge of the box. James, who's had a really good game, heads it away. Zinchenko's ball across. That's cleared away in the middle.
Can't get out Chelsea. Can they? Manchester City penning them in, but can they create something clear-cut?
City take the throw on the left-hand side. Fernandinho driving it on now into the penalty area. Uses Sterling. Sterling turns. He's kept the captain's armband, incidentally, Sterling. Then it comes centrally. Stones is there. Now Kyle Walker thinks about a shot. Dummies it. Beats Jorginho. Sent him sliding across the pitch. Now Mahrez on the right-hand side. Mahrez's ball across. That's a diving header away for Chelsea by Christensen in the middle. Pep Guardiola there. He's got his sleeves rolled up on his black jumper now down there. Pointing. Pep Guardiola looking really tense, and rightly so, understandably so, with his team 1-0 down. Zinchenko now on the left hand side. It's all Manchester City, this. Back it goes into the centre circle. Stones turns to his right. Walker is there. Kyle Walker now passes it to this side, to the right hand side, where Mahrez, forced away by Chilwell, has to go back towards the halfway line again. Right to left, Manchester City goes. Zinchenko goes for an early cross, comes off Kante, headed away by Azpilicueta. Kante puts in the challenge on Gundogan. Manchester City supporters wanted a free kick for that. Referee Lahoz says no again. Kante to Pulisic. Oh, lovely flick from Pulisic. Havertz is running at Diaz, still going. In comes the support, but he plays it through now into the area. A chance for a second, and Pulisic pulls it across the face of goal and wide.
Ow.
Oh, so close to 2-0 Chelsea.
And Pulisic hits the floor with his right hand. Manchester City wanted a foul on Gundogan. Devastating break, and Havertz slips the ball to Pulisic. Right hand side, inside the area. Ederson out, sold. He goes down and Pulisic lifts the ball over him, and it goes agonisingly wide.
And that's in front of all of those Chelsea fans down there at their end of the ground. They had their hearts in their mouths for a moment there. They must have thought that was going to be the second goal that might just have wrapped it up for Chelsea. Still only 1-0. Gabriel Jesus on the right-hand side takes on Rudiger. Jesus pulls it back onto his right foot, then gives it to Foden. Phil Foden looks up, left-footed cross towards the back post. Azpilicueta was there for Chelsea. It's cleared away by Mount. Manchester City though, Foden now onto the ball. He gives it to Fernandinho. Fernandinho to his left to Zinchenko, then Sterling on the left-hand side. James is in quickly, again on Sterling. Manchester City going back towards the halfway line again. Manchester City 0, Chelsea 1. This is BBC Radio, live from the Dragao on a gripping Champions League final night here between these two Premier League clubs. Zinchenko just uses Diaz behind him. Then Gundogan to Fernandinho. Fernandinho slips the ball forward. Sterling's after it, pulls it back across, flick from Jesus, and then Chilwell is across to clear it away for Chelsea into the crowd.
Oh, so good from Manchester City. Real patience, and the ball slipped inside Reece James. Sterling to the byline, fires the ball across the near post, and Jesus goes through his legs, trying a little back flick, trying to get it on target. And the Chelsea goal, unlucky. Good from City this though.
Yep, Manchester City, they're threatening to come to the Porto party, Chris.
Oh, they are. They're just probing, popping the ball around, trying to find a little gap, looking to exploit.
Mahrez, little ball forward towards Jesus. Now Foden on the right hand side. Jesus, who's pulled right across out to the right flank. And then Mahrez turns. This could be dangerous, Mahrez, but Chilwell is there with him, his old teammate, the two former Leicester men together, and Chilwell came out on top. And it's been brought towards the halfway line by Chelsea. And as they do that, who's there waiting on the halfway line to come onto the field, Chris?
There's Aguero. Could it be his night?
Could it be Sergio Aguero's night on his final night in a sky blue shirt? The club's record scorer. And talk about setting up the fairy tale. Rudiger sends a long ball forward. Zinchenko heads that away. Pulisic could have wrapped it up even before Aguero got onto the field. I mean, what was it? What sort of percentage chance was that for Pulisic?
It was a big opportunity, wasn't it? One-on-one. Ederson had gone down. Havertz, really well-weighted pass, wasn't it?
Chelsea come again. Mount and Pulisic. That's nice. Mount has a shot, but that's nowhere near. Drags it right across the face of goal and behind. 15 minutes to go, and this is the moment. Here we go. Pep Guardiola in his moment of need. Pep Guardiola turns and says to Sergio Aguero, come on, one last effort, one last big night for Manchester City, save us in the final. And Aguero is on to replace Raheem Sterling, who has now given the captain's armband to Fernandinho. And just while that was being made on the TV here, they've shown us the replay of the moment when Pulisic put his shot wide and Thomas Tuchel collapsed down onto his knees and was almost slapping the ground in frustration and disbelief that his team didn't get the crucial second goal.
Well, that would have been the chance which he would have wanted. They've defended so well. They are brilliantly organised. Those three centre-backs have a steely determination, an organisation, and then playing for the counter. That was the chance.
Here they come again though, Manchester City. Chelsea leading by 1-0. Walker with a cross, hits Chilwell, bounces behind. Corner to Manchester City from the right. The caption to that reaction from Thomas Tuchel, without question, was Donner und Blitzen. City with the corner from the right. It's going to be an in-swinger. Left-footed. City are packing the 6-yard box. Big moments this for the Chelsea defence. So many clean sheets under Thomas Tuchel. Here is the corner to the near post. Oh, that's poor. That's really poor from Mahrez. Easily headed away by Havertz. Comes back to Mahrez. That's a better ball. And it comes off the head of Rudiger, though, who is there in amongst the Manchester City players. We're in the 78th minute. Manchester City supporters, they've longed for this moment. There'll be very few around who remember Tony Book and the 1970 Cup Winners' Cup final. I was listening to him on the radio this morning with Gary Richardson. Absolutely brilliant, Tony Book and Joe Corrigan. They'll be watching at home as well, all the Manchester City old stagers, willing someone to come up with a goal, to come up with an equaliser, to save them in the final. But it's Chelsea, the sound from our left, growing confidence, but this ain't over yet. But that's a poor pass from John Stones, away above Zinchenko and out of play for a throw into Chelsea halfway inside their own half, Chris Sutton.
Yeah, and Kovacic is stripped and ready to come on for Chelsea. They're holding out. Can Thomas Tuchel's team see this one through?
One goal was enough for Chelsea in the FA Cup semi-final between the sides 6 weeks ago at Wembley when Ziyech scored the only goal. One goal at the moment is going to be enough again. What agony that'll be for Manchester City. But here they come. Walker down the right, using his pace. But Chilwell putting in the challenge, and it bounces up off Walker and bounces straight behind for Chelsea again. And they're taking all the time that they can over this. Referee Lahoz says, I've got my eye on you. But the change is going to take place now, and it's Mason Mount who is withdrawn. I thought it might be Havertz, I have to confess, but the goal scorer stays on, and it's the man who created the goal who leaves the field, with the Manchester City supporters watching quietly and the Chelsea fans applauding Mason Mount. So Kovacic is on, who's had such an excellent season. And Kovacic, you know, he's won the Champions League 3 times with Real Madrid, Kovacic, but he never got onto the field in any of the finals. And now he's onto the field finally in a Champions League final, and his team are winning 1-0.
Yeah, I didn't know that. And Mason Mount, that majestic pass for the Havertz goal, but Kovacic on fresh legs. Robust, isn't he?
Chelsea, a rare attack for them in this second half. 10 minutes to go. 10 minutes Manchester City. 10 minutes. Kovacic forward towards Kante. Kante to the right hand side, but the ball infield is cleared away by Manchester City, and then Gabriel Jesus was challenged and is upended actually, and the ball bounces out of play, and referee Lahoz says all it is a throw into Chelsea. Gabriel Jesus is not impressed.
It has to be a foul, doesn't it?
You would think so, wouldn't it?
That's pretty remarkable.
He waves a disdainful hand towards the assistant and walks away, and referee Lahoz comes across and says to him something to the effect of, I think you'll find I'm refereeing this game. No more hugs anymore from Lahoz. Throw in for Chelsea. Waiting to take it. James plays it up, little header in field, and Pulisic works it across. Chilwell couldn't get there. If he had got there, that could have been trouble for Manchester City. And then a little kick from Walker, and Chilwell goes down. It's a free kick. You know, they were painful moments for Chelsea, remember, just a fortnight ago. I mean, that incredible finish to the FA Cup final. And there's been a steeliness about Chelsea tonight, you know, almost like a steeliness and a resolve to put that right. And Chilwell wins this free kick. Manchester City frustration. Less than 9 minutes to play. 1-0 Chelsea lead. The Champions League final. With us on BBC Radio. James walks away from the ball, so Chilwell will take the free kick. This is just down to our left. We're looking right down on Ben Chilwell. Just uses his right forearm to mop his brow. Here's the delivery from Chilwell towards the back post, but it's headed away by Diaz. Comes out, James gives it square, then the snapshot comes in from Jorginho, but drags it wide through a crowd of players. It's behind. It's a goal kick. It's Manchester City 0, Chelsea 1. Chris Sutton.
Yeah, Manchester City and Pep will just be thinking, come on, let's create one decent opportunity. We've got 8 minutes of normal time and however long injury time. We need to be patient and not to force it. Wait for the right moment. We've got Jesus on and Aguero on. You'd fancy Aguero, wouldn't you? Chance falls to him. He's got goal-scoring record.
Sorry, Chris. Foden now over on the left-hand side. Jesus and Aguero through the middle. Mahrez on the right. And Manchester City in possession in the central third. City with Mahrez, but in comes Kovacic. Excellent challenge. Rudiger is in there as well. The ball bounces away for Kovacic. He's got 4 Manchester City players either side of him. Does really well. And then the Croatian is caught, and it's a free kick to Chelsea. Excellent play from Kovacic.
That's what he was brought on for. Give his team a bit of relief. Try and take the ball up the pitch. Keeps the ball so well under pressure. Manchester City press.
Little problem for Rudiger again. I don't think it's no, it was the challenge that came in on him from Fernandinho. He's okay. It's a free kick to Chelsea. Kovacic, who I'm sure will be involved with Croatia against England in England's opening match at the Euros 2 weeks tomorrow. You'll hear that on 5 Live. Also, England's matches this coming week in Middlesbrough against Austria and Romania. They're both on 5 Live, the commentaries. Ball played forward for Chelsea from Azpilicueta, but that just bounces through to Ederson. Apologies from the Chelsea captain, because he's given the ball back to Manchester City. Time really is running out now for Pep Guardiola and his team. What an effort it's been in this competition this season. You know, so close to a quadruple. Chelsea denied them in the FA Cup, and it's looking like they might deny them in the Champions League final as well.
Yeah, we've seen them score some late goals though, haven't we?
Certainly have. There was one once that I think Sergio Aguero scored it. It was, wasn't it? It was Aguero, wasn't it? Here's Walker on the right-hand side. Aguero is chasing this. It's over the top of James, and it's chipped across, and it's caught by Mendy at the near post. And Aguero there, very nearly, well, he had the opportunity to be provider and couldn't come up with the cross.
Well, that's a long diagonal ball. Reece James misjudges the flight. It goes to Aguero, left-hand side of the box, and Foden was in the middle, unmarked, too close to Mendy, who plucked the ball out of the sky.
1-0 Chelsea lead. 5 Live, World Service, Radio Manchester, BBC London, BBC Sounds. What a night it's been. It's shaping up to be a great night for Thomas Tuchel and Chelsea. Manchester City just 1-0 down though. Gundogan through the middle to Mahrez, who tried to lay it off. Chelsea have got it back. Chelsea breaking again. Kovacic, Fernandinho with an important little touch for Manchester City. Now Gundogan trying to pull the strings there in the central midfield after De Bruyne went off. Walker, long raking pass, it's over Azpilicueta, but it's all the way through. Foden stretching, couldn't get there, slides into the advertising hoardings. Goal kick, Chelsea, and we now have less than 5 minutes to go here in Porto.
Yeah, I think Kyle Walker halfway into the Chelsea half. It was Aguero, natural centre forward, had peeled off the back of Christensen. And the ball, diagonal ball, wasn't far away. Foden round the back, sliding, couldn't make contact.
Goal kick, Mendy to take it. And okay, they haven't kept clean sheets in their last 5 matches, but clean sheets have been really the hallmark of Thomas Tuchel's Chelsea side in his, nearly 30 matches in charge now. Clean sheet here, they win the Champions League. City come forward, headed back by Gabriel Jesus. In went Aguero. Aguero claims that should have been a corner, but referee Lajos was right there and says very calmly, it's a goal kick.
Yeah, but once again, we didn't see this in the first half. City movement in behind, natural centre forwards on now, Jesus and Aguero, and they're playing on the shoulder.
Thomas Tuchel down there, Chris, he's trying to rouse the Chelsea fans. This is their reaction, listen. They're trying to see Chelsea through to a second Champions League final success. Thomas Tuchel, his family are here somewhere in the stadium, he told us yesterday. Wife Sissy, who came across to London for the Leicester match, and he's down there again, whipping them up. Ball's out of play for a throw into Chelsea. Reece James is just wandering forward as though he's having a little Sunday afternoon walk down by the Douro. Takes the throw, gets it back. James scoops it forward. Then it's played back. City have got lots of sky blue shirts in there. Foden trying to work it forward. Foden trying to wriggle his way through. Kovacic puts in the challenge. Then down goes the Chelsea man. Foden has committed the foul. The yellow card is shown, and it's a free kick to Chelsea and a chance for them to waste a few more seconds.
Yeah, brainless from Jesus, really going to ground, lunging. Kovacic was caught initially by Foden. Ball pops out to Havertz, who gets there first, and Jesus just ploughs into the back of him. Perfect for Chelsea. Run the clock down.
We're in the 88th minute. I'm not sure how many Manchester City supporters inside the ground here will be confident their team is going to be able to do it tonight. Hasn't really happened for them. Interesting team selection from Pep Guardiola. That will be the subject on 606 tonight with you and Ali and Clinton. 08085 909 693. I'm certain of that. Did Pep Guardiola tinker too much with his team tonight? Andros Townsend is going to join us post-match. Don Hutchison as well to chew things over. Here's Kovacic though for Chelsea. Plays it to Chilwell here on the left-hand side. Little ball from him into the area. Pulisic back to Chilwell again. Ball in field, and then it's played by Jorginho to Pulisic, and then down by the corner flag, Chilwell invited the challenge from Jesus, who's just been yellow carded, and he got away with that. No free kick, and then he himself is fouled by Pulisic, and the Chelsea players look to the referee and say, how about that for a foul? But it's a free kick to Manchester City. We're in the 89th. We're in the 90th minute. If it's going to come, it's going to come late for Manchester City. Another Manchester club once scored a couple of late goals in a Champions League final. Zinchenko. Now to Walker. Up towards Gabriel Jesus. Aguero lurks on the edge of the box. Then Gundogan plays it. Foden has some space. Foden's ball right across the 6-yard box. It's held up by Mahrez, then played across, and then Christensen's in with a challenge to block it and clear it away. Foden in the middle, but Christensen with the block, and Chelsea scramble it away.
Oh, it was brilliantly worked, wasn't it, from Manchester City, from right to left, ball out wide, fist across the 6-yard line, and no takers. Ball popped back in, and Christensen with a really important block. Chelsea still holding firm.
Oh, Thomas Tuchel is going through the absolute ringer down there.
7.
That's how many minutes are to be played at the end of this Champions League final. I must say, I thought it might have easily been more than that. 7 minutes, but it might be 10 out of 10 for Chelsea. Jorginho swings it away, bounces out of play, throw into Manchester City. These are vital, these are gripping moments of Champions League drama on BBC Radio 5 Live. Here's Walker forward towards Foden. Mahrez takes it up, he's past Jorginho. Mahrez takes it on again. Kante in with a challenge for Chelsea and stopping Mahrez in his tracks. And now Pulisic carries it forward, and then down rather easily goes the goal scorer Havertz. He was fouled. It's a free kick to Chelsea, and we are already almost a minute into those 7 of added time.
Yeah, you talk about 7. The number 7 for Chelsea has been outstanding. N'Golo Kante, best player on the field, has been protecting that back line, linking the play. And Chelsea just about doing enough. Here he is again.
Yes, Kante up towards the edge of the box. It might break across to Kovacic. No, Gundogan was there, clears it away. Foden scampers after the ball on the far side. 21 yesterday. It looks as though it's not going to be the dream birthday present for Foden, but it's not over yet. We still have 5 minutes of added time to play. Walker carries it infield, a heavy touch though, and then Jorginho is in, and Jorginho spirals away after the challenge. Excellent refereeing from Lahoz though, says no free kick, and he's absolutely right. And Jorginho says something to referee Lahoz, and Lahoz does not like that at all.
He looked like he was going to tackle him.
He ran across to him, pointing at him, and tells him to behave. Mahrez, left-footed ball into the box. That's headed away in the middle for Chelsea by Christensen, and it's out of play for a throw-in down the right-hand side. And City with a throw.
And for a long throw by the looks of it. John Stones forward, Diaz forward.
Vital moments, final moments here in Porto. Walker steps right off the grass. Up he comes. Throw into the edge of the 6-yard box. Bounces off Chelsea. Still in the box. Cleared by Chilwell's left foot. No one is on the halfway line for Chelsea. Ederson comes up, and Ederson's the only man there. And he looks up, and Ederson from the left wing sends a high ball into the Chelsea penalty area. That one's headed away. Chilwell was underneath that. Kovacic as well. Now Walker's ball into the edge of the box. Kante was there for Chelsea. This is superb. Backs to the wall defending by Thomas Tuchel's side. And then Kante suddenly appears again near the halfway line and keeps possession, draws the challenge, draws the foul from Fernandinho, stays on the ground. Free kick Chelsea. More frustration for Manchester City, and Thomas Tuchel, he's the band leader here for Chelsea Football Club, and he almost runs towards the Chelsea fans again and says, listen, we've had such a long time without supporters inside the ground. We're in the Champions League final, we might be about to win it. You're here, get us through to the final finishing line. Azpilicueta to take this free kick. We've now had 3.5 minutes of the 7 of added time. 1-0 Chelsea lead. Ball played forward and a foul by Havertz and a free kick to Manchester City. Ederson gets the ball down. Havertz hangs around in front of the ball. Ederson says, come on, I'm trying to take this quickly. And Havertz is standing here. Referee Lahoz says, come on, get away from there, Havertz. And he does oblige. Havertz.
Diaz has gone as a makeshift centre forward. We can't play through them.
No, so they're going long. That's the final option for Manchester City. And here they are with Jesus on the right-hand side. Jesus, but Chilwell again. He's had a good night too, Ben Chilwell.
Here we go, long throw.
Long throw from Walker. Up they come again. Almost everyone's inside the Chelsea box. Walker with the long throw. It comes off the Manchester City head. Referee Lahoz says that's a foul, and it's a free kick to Chelsea. And Phil Foden on the far post slices a shot into the side netting in any case. And Rudiger stays down, and it's still Manchester City 0, Chelsea 1. Chelsea are nearly there.
Yeah, and Manchester City, who would have believed it, they've turned into the old Wimbledon. There's 3 minutes to go. Launching it, long throws.
I think Thomas Tuchel's going to do himself a mischief down there if he's not careful. He's like the proverbial cat on the hot tin roof.
And what's that in German, John?
Der Katze auf den heißen Tinrufer. The ball's out of play for a throw into Manchester City, and it's played across the line to Ederson, and Ederson long and left-footed. I think that's going to go all the way out of play. It is agonisingly for City, beyond Mahrez, beyond Jesus, and we've now had 5 minutes and 23, 24, 25 seconds.
There's still time.
There is. 6:06 on the way on 5 Live. 08 085 909 693. Lots to discuss. Jesus wriggles away. Jesus into the area on the right hand side, but Chelsea do well. Christensen did really well there against Jesus. Forced him wide. Strong defending. Out of play though. It's another long throw from that position again. Chelsea have been strong. They've got to be strong perhaps one more time. Walker spins the ball. Here's the throw. A loopy one to the near post. Stones with a glance. Fernandinho's after it. It's shot goalwards. It's just over the bar from Mahrez. He swung a leg at it. Mendy was beaten, and it just cleared the bar.
It's a long throw. The ball knocked out. Oh, it is inches. Maybe centimetres. It's Riyad Mahrez, 18 yards out, right-footed. Mendy rooted. He wasn't saving that in the ball. I mean, how close was that from Mahrez? Agonising.
What a night it's been. Just the one goal, and I think that one goal is going to be enough. It just feels like that was last chance. The slice from Mahrez, so close. And the ball wouldn't drop in. One last ball, Ederson hits it long, too long downfield. It's fielded by Mendy at the other end. That's it! Chelsea have done it! Chelsea have beaten Manchester City here in Porto in the Champions League final of 2021, and they've run on with wild celebrations. Thomas Tuchel turns to Pep Guardiola and very generously walks across, the two coaches together, arms round one another. It's not been Pep Guardiola's day. It's not been Manchester City's night. Their first Champions League final. They've lost it. And Chelsea, a fortnight after losing in the FA Cup final, Chelsea have landed the big one in what is, remember, Thomas Tuchel's 30th match in charge. And he's made up for his personal disappointment in last year's final with Paris Saint-Germain down in Lisbon. And instead, here in Porto, Chelsea have seen off Manchester City and Pep Guardiola. They denied them the quadruple in the FA Cup semi-final 6 weeks ago, and now Chelsea have turned into Manchester City's bogey team this season. They've beaten them in the Champions League final, the biggest one of them all. And Chelsea are the champions. 1-0 against Manchester City. Chris Sutton.
Oh wow, what a performance from Chelsea. Perfect in Porto, terrific. Thomas Tuchel, they defended so well, but gotta say, John, what a game. You think Mendy didn't have an awful lot to do with that opportunity at the end. Riyad Mahrez, that was so close from Manchester City. But gotta say, I think Chelsea deserved it. They had the better opportunities. Had Timo Werner had his shooting boots on, they may well have been out of sight, but it was a player, Havertz, went for big money from Leverkusen to Chelsea. Hasn't really turned up this season with the all-important goal from a perfect pass from Mason Mount. And Chelsea, they've been so well drilled, haven't they, under Thomas Tuchel defensively. And and they get the job done. This is massive for Chelsea, massive for Thomas Tuchel. When he came in, you wondered where he could take this team, and he's taken them to a Champions League victory. But where do Manchester City go from here? This was the one that Pep wanted to win. I don't care what anybody else says. Massive disappointment. Didn't do enough on the night, John.
The stage is being moved into position. We have an arch in the centre circle which has winners written across the top of it, and the Chelsea club badge is on there. Manchester City players still down on the pitch. Chelsea players are jubilant. There are high fives, there are hugs, everything down there as they mill around together. And it's Chelsea's night in Porto. 1 goal was enough. Manchester City 0, Chelsea 1.